Thanks for being here today. I'm John Husted. I'm Senator from Ohio, and I want to talk a little bit about AI. And I know that Senator Rosen and I have a bill that would prohibit deepseek from being on any federal devices. But I have, grown concerned about how, we talk about the scams with seniors, and certainly foreign adversaries like China are exploiting our freedoms. We allow these technologies to freely flow inside of America while they prohibit those same kinds of technologies from being available to their population. And Mr. O'Leary, I know you have a lot of experience in looking at these investments in China and abroad. Do you have any thoughts on AI, particularly DeepSeek or anything in that space, how our freedoms, how Chinese government and Chinese businesses are perhaps exploiting our freedoms, and what threats AI pose in that space, particularly for our seniors and scams that could be perpetrated in America?
Yeah, this is a good point. This issue around AI competition, it's my belief that the country that advances AI the fastest and with the most capacity is the safest from a defense point of view. I don't care where warfare goes in terms of technology, it's going to be driven by AI. Predictive outcomes in a war scenario. If I were China, I would want to be the most advanced and as fast as I could in AI just to prepare for warfare in the future. I mean, that's what we should be really concerning ourselves with. Do we have the most advanced AI? You can see the effects of AI. We talked about fraud. You can see the propaganda as of 48 hours on TikTok right now, incredibly, remarkably generated images of overweight Americans at sewing machines. That's all AI-driven. The challenge we have, it's almost worth its own investigation, is the country with the most power wins AI, because you have to build giga-sized data centers. Right now in America, we have a demand for 45 gigs. 5 gigs are under construction. What holds us back in North America, Mexico and Canada included, is permits and power. If you go to any authority here in any state and ask for a gig of power, you can't get it. It's just not available. So our grid is maxed out. And China has solved this problem with coal-powered electrical plants that are generating a tremendous amount of electricity. They don't have a problem with permitting. The government finds the land, they build the facilities, and they power it with over 1.4 gig of power. And one of the reasons they were able to advance DeepSeek so quickly was they got the power to do it. And you've heard lots of warnings about this, but AI, it should be earmarked as #1 issue for defense. That's what I think it is, in every way, including propaganda and everything else. But if we don't have the best AI, we won't be winning militarily in the future.
Well, I think that's a really good point. And if you study the history of the world, the nations that are the most military and economically dominant are the nations that are the most innovative. And new technologies from the beginning of time have advanced as military weapons that allowed for nations to conquer or be conquered. It certainly creates that same opportunity from an economic point of view, because look, militaries are built through the revenue and the growth of a nation's economy.
And the tech.
And the tech. And the tech is financed from that economic dominance. So economic dominance begets military dominance. Military dominance traditionally has been helpful at economic dominance and conquest and setting the rules of the game for global competition. The other two gentlemen who are with us today, you have any thoughts on those particular issues?
I think we could go back to exactly what Kevin was talking about in the beginning and what I've tried to talk about, which is the playing field is not equal. Our companies are playing on an unlevel playing field to access the capital. Over there, it's going into China, and it may never come back. Xi makes one decision, and then that's all gone. And we don't know how deep and how far the investment ecosystem is in private equity, in pensions, it's in mutual funds. Any of these that hold Chinese companies can go to zero tomorrow if Xi decides to do so. And I think that's what the scariest thing is from my perspective.
Great. I'm out of time, but I will say to this point, these technologies in a free society that are yielded by our adversaries and people within those nations who will not police the rule of law can be weaponized against our citizens, and in this particular case, our elderly citizens in this nation. And we got to wake up to it, and I appreciate your thoughts.